Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-news.com, and it's time to swap some beers.
Oh.
Homebrew beers. This is beer exchange number 24.
24.
Whew, wow. You know, you have your first one, and then you got your 24th one, and there you go. Anyway, this is from a guy named Kyle in Florida, based on his...
Oh, now I'm getting, yeah.
And he had a rye saison, and then I don't know what happened to that, but then he said, I have a red ale that's ready to send, and he sent that to us. And this red ale, if you want me to go through it, I can talk about...
Go for it, because...
everything. Yeah, you have to, like, really get into it.
I work hard on these videos, you know? Oh, yeah.
You sure do. Okay, so this is a red ale. The ABV is 6.7%. The color is 16 SRM, and then the IBUs are 55. The original gravity was 1063. The final gravity was 1012. He did some water chemistry. The chloride is around 150 ppm, and sulfites are 70 ppm as well. This was a 2.5 gallon batch, so kind of halved it. He mashed at 155 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just going to go by percentages. His grain bill included 2-row, 70% of 2-row in his grain bill. Dark Munich, he had 8% of that. Victory malt, he had 8% of that malt. Crystal 80, 8%. Biscuit malt, 4%. And Special B at 2%. And then he boiled for 60 minutes. His hop additions included Falconer's Flight. He had a 1/4 ounce of that at 60 minutes. Another dose of Falconer's Flight at 10 minutes, also, and that was at a 1/2 ounce. 1/2 ounce of Amarillo at 10 minutes. At 5 minutes to go in the boil, he did another 1/2 ounce of Amarillo. And again, at 5 minutes, he had a 1/4 ounce of Falconer's Flight. The yeast was, is that Omega Hothead Ale?
Yeah.
He got an 80% attenuation with that. I'm sure that's estimated. Anyway, that is the red ale that he sent us, and I can't wait to taste it. You seem to be enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm going to drink yours.
That's for me. So
I'm digging it. I am digging it.
What are you getting out? And thinking of your expectations of red ale, does it fit everything that you want?
So what's interesting is, I don't know if it's just the bottle traveling over here, but there's a fair amount of haze in it. But from what I can see, the color, it's sort of like a decent cup of tea, like an iced tea color. Yeah. Which I think if it cleared out, it would appear a little darker.
Yeah.
And then I think it probably has a pretty good red ale color profile. I mean, sometimes red ale can get to be a little bit more brown ale in color, but this looks pretty good. That tea-like thing, once it settles out and clears up, I bet it's probably got a pretty good color profile to it. I like that. I'm liking that. The initial aroma component is the very first thing I got was a nice blast of malt profile. Specifically, I got like a tobacco, like a wet tobacco, almost leather-like thing, a sherry-like thing, which I really enjoyed. And then once you read the recipe and it said Dark Munich, I was like, you had me at Dark Munich. Okay? It's great. I mean, I love that.
What's the love on Dark Munich?
Typically Dark Munich, depending on who you're getting it from, it's like 20 love.
Okay.
All right, so that's the good stuff.
So I think that
you can
regular Munich is like 10?
You can go 100% of 10 love and make a perfectly fine Munich Dunkel. Or you can start doing Pilsner, Munich 1, light. That's also called light Munich. Dark Munich is usually about 20. Let's not talk about Dunkel. Let's talk about this. I love Dunkel. I should brew Dunkel. So what's interesting is, but I do get a little bit of fruit, which then when you started the late hop additions of Falconer's Flight, I think that's poking through a little bit, and the Amarillo. I think the Amarillo is playing with that Munich, and that's what's giving me that tobacco-like thing. Because that tangerine-y, orangey thing with the Amarillo, I'm totally digging that part of it. Flavor profile-wise, there's a nice malt punch to it.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is I'm not sure. It's just red ale, right? It just says red ale.
It just says red ale. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Bottle conditioned.
Bottle conditioned? Are we going for a red ale that is sort of like Irish red ale,
Well,
or are we going for an American red ale?
I'm guessing it's
at 1063 OG in Falconer's Flight Amarillo.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we're thinking American.
That's what I would guess. Yeah.
I love the way this drinks. It drinks super easy, super smooth, and that's why I'm a little bit like it's almost like more of a bigger Irish red malt profile, but with some American hopping in it.
Yeah, I think so. My question to you, with the chloride to sulfate ratio 2-to-1, basically.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. That's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Yeah. So what do you think it's doing to the way that the hops are presenting themselves?
Well, I think that the malt's taking over. I mean, you're talking about biscuit, special B, biscuit and victory and special B in the recipe.
Yeah.
Especially victory at 8%. And I like victory malt. I like all those malts. I like malt.
You haven't met a malt that you don't like.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Melanoidin, but that's a different video.
All right, we'll talk about that.
I think that the malts are taking over the hop profile. I think if you wanted the hops to sing out of this, two things would be, like, so this is 2.5 gallon batch, so this is only half an ounce for 5 gallons of Falconer's Flight at 60 minutes.
Yep.
I mean, why not go for a full ounce of Falconer's Flight? Because Falconer's Flight normally about 12 to 15 alpha acid, so you should get a lot of bitterness, but there's not a lot of bitterness here. And certainly the chloride sulfate ratio is softening all that and really helping the malt stand through. I mean, this is a highly drinkable beer, and I wouldn't change a thing. But if you were really going for more of an American red ale and you wanted some punch in there, you got to up that 60-minute edition just to get it to punch through all this malt. Right?
Yeah.
That's my feeling. But it's super drinkable as it is.
Yeah. I would think that even like, I would dry hop a little bit too as well, just to get the aroma to mesh well with the hop aroma. I'm sorry, the malt aroma.
I am loving it though. Jesus, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you're going for another hit. That's good.
It's cold here in New England. You gotta get this stuff going.
Get it going.
What do you think? What's your impression? I mean, I'm blabbering away, but
no, I know I like it. I think it's.
Nobody likes it when I blabber away.
Who says that?
I don't know.
Your wife?
We get some comments. I wish the guy with the glasses would stop talking.
No. It's not. You just talk over me. That's all you gotta do. Like, you gotta let me talk. I've got some things to say.
So I'll go off camera for a bit, and then you can talk about the beer.
No, I think it's well balanced. I think that, to me, it's almost like I agree with what you said about the hops. It's just it's not alive enough, and I just wonder if it's because of the way that like the chloride should actually make the chloride 2-to-1 ratio should make the fruitiness of the hops come out. I mean, that's what we do here in New England.
Well, sulfite should add bite to the hops.
Yes, I know.
But chloride is adding softness to the malt.
So maybe he switches it.
Yeah. Flip it over the other.
Switch it.
Brew the exact same recipe, flipped over, and send us more.
Yes.
And send us more of this too. But
I think Kyle's gonna be happy with.
I love the 2.5 gallon batch. To me, that signifies somebody who's like experimenting. Yeah. Right. Someone who's like, I don't want to brew a thing. I'm working on this thing. Yeah. Right. Of course, it could be I don't have 5 gallon equipment, but I think 2.5 gallons is tremendous, and I think there's a trend. People are trending towards smaller and smaller batches because you can brew more.
No, and I love that. I mean, that's why I like doing 1 gallon batches. I actually would like to get a 3 gallon fermenter so I could do this.
Absolutely.
I don't want a lot of headspace in my fermenter. Oh, man.
I'm just so excited.
Super excited. But anyway, I think that I echo a lot of your points. I think that there's a lot going on in the malt profile, and there's a lot to dissect there. It would be nice to have.
I might take this malt profile and just throw a bunch of EKG in this thing and
see what happens.
Rock out
and do like it's great. And do like more of an Irish red ale to try to pull that out.
A big Irish red ale.
Yeah, well, for sure. Or you could always like.
I love it.
You should just bring back some of the 2-row and then see how that goes.
Yep.
Bring everything.
I love
down,
it.
I guess.
I think in the future, when we do these exchanges and we get people send us beer, it'd be nice to have a little commentary on like what the brewer was going for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't want to frame this in any negative light because I love this. I think this is really great.
No, I think that's right. Because I think that even in competition, you're supposed to be brewing to style. You're supposed to be like, it's given that you are brewing, this is what I was trying to brew.
Yeah.
And I'm trying my best to brew this based on the given style. Yeah. But we don't care about styles per se. If you say like, you know what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to bring American hops with a really interesting grain bill. What do you think?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't...
There was a controversial post I saw somewhere. NHC...
Controversy.
NHC English Pale Ale, the beer that won was like all Cascade hops in American malts.
Okay.
And I saw, when I looked at that recipe, I was like, because they publish all the recipes for the gold medal of every category. And I was like, that looks like just a killer American pale ale like recipe, right? So, you know, so there was some, I saw it was a letter to the editor of the Zymergy magazine on the AHA website. And I just think that when you taste something in a competition as a judge, you don't know what really went into it. So you're just fitting it into the guideline, right? Yep. This beer as it exists, as, you know, I think you'd have a hard time, like, figuring out what category to put this in. Because it's not American enough to really scream out at me as an American red ale. But it would score very well on the intangible side as just being, you'd get a score sheet back that says maybe you'd be like in the 30s, not really to style, but you'd get a comment that said, I really love this beer though. Like, because this is a great beer. And I remember most of my beers of 2017, I really wasn't shooting for specific style wins. I was just trying to make beers that in my mind made sense for what I wanted to drink. And I want to drink this beer. Have I said that about 20 times in this video? This is a great, I really like this.
You're loving it.
I really like this.
All right, Kyle, appreciate the beer. Love the swap.
I'm gushing, Kyle.
If you would like to send us a beer for us to make the big guy cry on camera.
Send me some styles I don't like.
Like what?
Smoke beers.
You don't like smoke beers?
Not really. What else don't I like? Send some like big Belgian beers. I'm not really a super fan of those, but those challenge your palate and challenge your thinking. That's how you become a better taster.
True that. So
go to your local craft beer store and buy styles that you don't really like, but look at the BJCP, drink them, and that's how you become a better taster. You push through some of that. Of course, you can go to any craft beer store in America right now, and if they have anything other than double IPA, I'd be surprised. The Belgians make beer? Really? I had no idea.
All right, now
I've driven this off the rails now.
Absolutely. Kyle, thanks for the
Kyle,
swap.
I'm just gonna
if you'd like to swap beer with us, please go to brew-dudes.com. On our contact page, you can find our email address. Again, it's dudes@brew-dudes.com if you just want to write that down or type it into your phone or something.
The URL.
Send us an email and I will give you information on how you can ship us a beer. So, again, thanks for making the big guy happy. For John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. Brew on.
Cheers.